Good morning, guys, and welcome back to iPunt Smart. We start off today. Good to soft conditions in Scottsville. There's been a bit of rain, 1 millimeter last 24 hours, 10 millimeters in the last 7 days. There was some talk that the meeting's going to be moved to Greyville, but it seems it hasn't happened yet. We start off with a green in the first race, always on my mind. I do make it my first choice, and my second choice. Then being Irish Bell the favourite. Now, I make it my second choice purely on that last run when Dillon was taking the ride. There was some support 3.1 and 2.5, and the adjusted time 57.53 is the best, most recent adjusted time that I've seen, given Irish Bell's 59.25, 59.58. Irish Bell has got the 55 kilos on the back, but even last time on the Greyville, with 56 kilos, it still did 59.58. So that 57.53 really stood out for me, as I've made that my first choice. The second choice being Irish Bell, then. The third choice, Louis Goosen and Ashton Aries, has made some Greyville poly runs there that was pretty decent. And earlier at Scottsville, some decent runs, 58.8 adjusted time here with 60 Ks. So he's my third choice. Stanton Street with Gavin van Sale and Danielson is my fourth choice. It does need a little bit of improvement on the Scottsville side, because that figure of 16.55 is not all that great, but that adjusted time of 57.63 was really good. So maybe the handicapper was not quite on top of it at the time. Then my fifth choice is Sugar and Spice. Sugar and Spice has had some decent runs, 57.19 here as well, but that was at 55 kilos, and now it's going up to 58.5, so it does need to improve. It's taken the tongue tie off again because it clearly didn't work with that worst bat last time. So he's my fifth choice, and then the sixth choice is Ancient State. The bottom, Kotson and New Yorkway, and Drogorati, the seventh choice, seems to be improving. Lafferty hasn't been doing too badly of late. So those are my first race. It's not part of the exotics or anything. So and then Master Dancer could be anything back from the rest. I haven't seen much, but it is Dennis Dreyer, and Dennis Dreyer has been in really good form, and he's come back from a very long rest, and who knows what he's going to be up when he comes back. He does need to improve quite a bit, but he certainly does have the capability to do so. Then the second race is only the start of the bipod, and here we have Sanctity as my first choice. You can see the bat figures are pretty decent, the best in the field. The second choice, Secret Giver with Gavin van Sale and Danielson. So I do have a bit of respect for the Stanton Street and Secret Giver double. And then my third choice Techno Savvy, Pardon Austin Kennedy. Only on his third run, he's almost got the best bat figures, and he's definitely the two of Sanctity and Techno Savvy has got 4 lengths against the rest of the field, and he does have the best adjusted time to boot as well. So he is my third choice, and I think those 3 is enough for the bipod purposes. The Thorn would be my fourth choice. Yoga's Governor has been in really good form. He does have the best bat curve and the best stat form, and interesting that Sean Wheel takes the ride. And then Mr. Pagali with Donovan Dillon could also be the double with always on my mind with Mr. Pagali. So that's the way I'm thinking. Interesting that Shane Humby is got Jacobs to ride on Go Sandals, and Donovan Dillon, the stable jockey, is on Mr. Pagali. So Mr. Pagali is a bit of a question mark for me. It could be anything. Watch the betting on that one. Race 3, and yeah, my first choice is again Donovan Dillon, and this time with Mr. Hill, Fly Me Free, and he doesn't have that much to spare on the bat figures, since these two is very close to him. but he does seem the best in most departments. He has a bit of a gap on the T curve, but the racing is quite tough today. Second race, second choice, Laurel Lane, on these very close to that bat figures. Then Horoscope, the other governor again with Sean Veal, and again the best bat curve. So the same as the previous governor, also had the best bat curve. So that's something to look out for. And then Everglow, Justin Snaith, and Wayne Agrella pops in here at 14 to 1 as my fourth choice. So it could also be a bit of a tough race if my um, Fly Me Free and Laurel Lane doesn't make it in the bipod. Those would be my first two selections for the bipod. Then Horoscope and Everglow is the roughies. And we start with pick six. And in the pick six first leg, Legislates Dance, Lazon Forbes. Looks a decent runner for me. Does have a couple of links on 1,000 tunes to find on the bat figures, but these two on the bat figures is now pretty decent ahead from the rest of the field. So Legislates Dance and 1,000 tunes is my first two choices, and I'm only going to do those two in the bipod and PA. For pick six, consider Command Control, Grey Lungari, Command Council, Grey Lungari, Command Control, and Fat Cigar as the alternatives. In the fifth year, I have my first choices Like That Loose. Spring High from a break can be anything. Dennis Dreyer comes back as being gelded as well. Veals takes the ride for the first time today for Dennis Dreyer. You can see the P-stats looks really good on these top two. 88% chance on stat form for Spring High to run a top 3 place. And 88% on exotic ranking for Hampton Court on the exotic ranking. Wunderbar then my fourth choice, with the Mazio my fifth, Woodstock Festival, Valiente, and Alfonso Spugoni. In the jackpot 1 and in the pick 6, I have gone the first 5, Like That Loose, Spring High, Hampton Court, Wunderbar, and the Mazio. And then in the bigger perm, 3, 9, and 12, which would be Woodstock Festival, Valiente, and Alfonso Spugoni. But I hope the first 5 is enough to get you through. But I think it's a bit of an open leg, merit rate at 88. So bipod and PA, I'm taking the first 5. In the next, Shane Humby and Donovan Dillon does team up in this race at least, and that's normally a decent sign. But it is a fillies and mares handicap, and it does look pretty tough because there's nothing really standing out here on bat figures. They're all very squashed on together. The one that is ahead is Drama Queen, but Drama Queen, the distance is in red. It's a bit of a concern for me on that. I'm going to go with Diamonds and Pulls as my first choice. Scarlet Hill, Stelvio, Jacksburg, and Drama Queen. All of them in my bipod and PA 136, 7, 8, and 9. So even preferential as well. So 6 horses here in my bipod. I think the bipod's got quite tough, but you can see, yeah, there's my numbers at the left bottom on the bipod. I'll put them in there now. In the 7th race, Lizanne Forbes and Moody again. So this is the second time that Forbes and Moody is on top. Mary O looks pretty decent. If I look at the green bats, it's got 3 lengths better than the second choice. But in saying that, Humby and Wright has come together on this race, which is weird since we've got Humby and Diamonds and Pulls with Dillon in the previous race. Why do we have Humby and Wright in this race? Mr. Fitz has the best adjusted time and speed rating in the field, which leaves me to why does Dillon go to Garth Puller? So American Indian could be anything here, popping in for Dillon. Dillon seems to be the jockey with the best rides for the day. So that leaves me some question marks. It is a listed race, so interesting that Dylan is not riding for Humvee. I have gone 3, 6, 7, 10, which is 10 Mary O, 7 Black Ball, 3 Mr. Fitz, and 6 Shareholder in my bipod, and the bigger one, New Stream, 3, 6, 7, 10, with the 4. Um, it does look pretty tough. So then I have also added Baby Shoes and American Indian and Marching On Together in my pick 6. Then we move on to the 8th race, the last leg of Jackpot 1. And in the 8th race, Hawker Typhoon, Silent Crusade, Linear, and Blush of Dawn is my first 4. I do think Hawker Typhoon is decent, but bit of a question mark for me on Silent Crusade, having the better greeny points, better speed rating, and better form, with the red bats here. And then Blush of Dawn and Linear. Linear is a question mark, does have the best super roll percentage, and comes back from a bit of a rest. So that's another question mark for me. 2, 3, 5, 6, and 8 is how I will be playing it here, and maybe also the 1 DDG. And then in the 9th race, last leg of the day, I think 8 and 11. Benny's Dream, Glencotson and Jacobs looks pretty decent here. Green Light to Heaven had a tough last race, but prior to that he's got the best bet, 84 and 168 figures. So Benny's Dream and Green Light to Heaven. Green Light to Heaven at 10 to 1 is a really decent price to it. And then Candyman, Dennis Dreyer and Sean Veal, and Iron Tail, Garth Puller, and Jacobson's only ride for the day. Blinkers fitted, 14 to 1, best exact distance, median speed, and best exact blue bat course and distance. So those 4 is my main play, 8, 11, 10, and 14, and I'm hoping that that will be enough to also get me through the pick 6. Maybe also add the Iron Tail. So the 5 runners: Bernie Stream, Green Light to Heaven, Candyman, Iron Tail, and Mahu Nanu. Lizanne Forbes could have a really decent day, so by now there might be a bit of more intent for Lizanne Forbes to also win the last race. That's it from me, guys. Short and sweet. Talk to you again tomorrow. There's nothing standing out. Maybe only the greenie in the first race that I quite like, always on my mind, but more from an each way perspective.